The world of finance is full of acronyms: ACH, NCUA, ALM, etc., but one you may not be as familiar with is PMO. Wait, what? What in the world is PMO? It stands for Project Management Office. Now, you may not have an official project management office or department, but you have staff who dabble in project management each and every day. These are people who are handling big, outside of the normal operation projects. What do we mean? Well, let's look at Jerry and June. Jerry is the COO of his credit union. He's been working over the last several months with lots of employees across the organization to convert to a new core system. That's been his big focus. June, on the other hand, is the ACH manager. She's busy overseeing her team to make sure the daily files are processed and settled. She too works with several employees each day and ensures proper procedures are being enforced when it comes to ACH processing. Which one of these two is currently working in project management? If you said Jerry, congrats, you're correct. Implementing a new core system qualifies as a project management task. That's because it's a temporary endeavor with a defined beginning and end that creates a unique product, service, or result. It's different from operational work, which tends to be ongoing and repetitive, like the daily ACH work June oversees. Here's the formal definition of project management. Whew, that was a lot to swallow. But at the end of the day, it comes down to this. The last thing you want to have is chaos. Running from fire to fire, not using items that were purchased or took a lot of time to create, having inconsistent procedures, running over time and over budget. These are not the hallmarks of a successful project. That's the whole premise behind project management, to structure and streamline an important project from start to finish. And that includes everything in between, including planning for things such as timelines, budget, risks, communications, and more, gathering necessary resources, laying out processes, providing scope and guidelines, managing the people involved, dealing with any issues that arise, keeping things on track by making any necessary adjustments, seeing the project through to closing. How does all of this get done, you ask? Well, it starts with the establishment of a project team. The team consists of a project manager. This may be an employee with this exact title whose job is to oversee all credit union projects, and the individuals who carry out the tasks associated with the project. Important players include the project sponsor and project lead. While the team may be different for each project, the process of project management and its main components remain the same. With that said, let's take a deeper dive into the process. Here are the 5 major phases of project management. Initiate. It's here that the project team defines the business need, the vision, and the objectives of the project, and makes sure it's aligned with the strategic goals of the credit union. From the vision and objectives, you'll develop a project charter, begin preparation meetings, identify the sponsor and leads, as well as other important stakeholders, and begin prioritizing main tasks. It's also in this phase that you'll look at the historical information to see if and how a project similar to this was constructed in the past. Take note of successes and failures and figure out ways to optimize the process. The initiation phase is also where you'd want to break a large project into smaller segments to make it less overwhelming. Plan. The next phase is the planning phase. This is where you'll break down the project into smaller parts by creating a work breakdown structure and then map out the steps. In doing so, you'll likely identify some potential risks that may impact the project, but also opportunities to leverage resources for greater efficiency. When planning, consider the following elements: management's plans, the project scope statement, the full project team, as well as their roles and responsibilities, resource requirements and costs, risk management, and formal approvals. Then, utilize tools such as a work breakdown structure, activity lists, and network diagrams to lay the management plans out in an organized manner. This will ensure all information is recorded accurately and all the parties are on the same page. Planning isn't just for the timeline, but for the resources, budgeting, risks, communications, stakeholders, and more. You look at all the aspects of the project to the most minute level possible. The idea behind this phase is to be proactive versus reactive. After planning, it's time to kick off the project. Execute. Now we execute. In this phase, all of the work laid out in the planning process is completed. During execution of the project, several things will conspire. The project scope will come to life in the team's daily tasks. Changes will likely need to be made and corrective action taken. A reliable communication string will develop so everyone can send and receive information and updates. Team building and recognition of good work will play out. The project budget, or most of it, will be realized here. The most important thing to keep in mind during the execution phase is following the plans that were created and agreed to as a team and fostering clear communication through the entire process. Regular communication, whether through regular status meetings, electronic updates, or even a tin can, will keep everyone in sync and the project on task. Consistent communication will also be helpful in resolving any issues that arise and maintaining the integrity of the project timeline, which takes us to the next phase. Measure and control. The execution and measure and control phases run concurrently, so those issues and changes in plans can be handled in a timely manner. Essentially, this step is a necessary task on the part of the project manager to keep the project on task. He or she will oversee proposals to change the project plans and implement those changes as preventative actions. In the process of measurement and control, the project manager will need to compare the changes to the scope and plans, determine variances and response time, and plan for additional risk. Using tools such as issue logs, conflict resolution, performance checks, change control, and configuration management, the measure and control process will keep the project moving forward as smoothly as possible. And remember, the project should still meet quality and budget expectations as closely as originally intended. Closure. At last, the project is completed and the final phase can take place. Now, the work isn't quite over yet. In this phase, the team will come together to analyze the results of the project, what lessons were learned, what information should be archived for future reference, and so on. Furthermore, the sponsor will need to formally accept and sign off on the project and final administrative tasks, such as completion of contracts, paying any bills, and any cleanup that still needs to be finished. After everything is wrapped up, resources can officially be released from the project and it's time to celebrate. Have the team give shout-outs, have a celebratory lunch or party, and extend thanks to everyone who made this project possible. Now that we know the process, it's important to recognize the point of all of this. What does project management mean for the organization? The value is undeniable when you consider that project management brings all of these things to a project. Effective communication, a proactive project scope with predetermined expectations, completion of project on time and within budget, a quality plan so success is reached without the need for constant rework and shifting of efforts, quick and efficient resolution of issues, an understanding of project risks, an improved work environment, predictability, and finally, a hard stop on bad projects or ones that need to be put on hold. Ultimately, each project is different. Depending on the magnitude of the initiative, the main processes and how deeply you dive into them will be different as well. But project management ensures a streamlined process each time. It will help the team to plan, prioritize, manage communication, conduct assessments, keep an eye on the goal, and bring the project to fruition. Thanks for joining us to learn a little more about project management. Have a great day!